Hi, I'm Kat Cheney, and today joining me is Stefan Turnipseed, the Executive Director of Strategic Partnerships for LEGO Education. Stefan, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
How did LEGO go from being a product sales company to a leader in education and a proponent of hands-on learning?
In 1997, we were basically a company using dealers and moving boxes of material which we had created for teachers, but we weren't really addressing the in-classroom use. We weren't really addressing a full solution.
We all have a story to tell, but not every student finds it easy to write or tell stories.
We've moved progressively through to now bringing in products that are tied directly to the curriculum, tied to the standards. We've had a lot of unintended consequence from the No Child Left Behind, the high-stakes testing. When we see teachers and we see administrators saying, yes, we have to take the test, but we really are most interested in helping the child learn, it's in those areas that we see things.
I read about a science fair that
yes.
was particularly influential for you in your path. So can you start back at the beginning, and particularly that moment, in terms of how you ended up working in education?
I grew up in a rural community in Alabama, and I thought farming was sort of in my future. And my 7th grade science teacher, Ms. McFillan, said to me, hey, you know, you're really good in math. You really should, have you thought about entering a science fair experiment? And I picked a science fair experiment that was about Boolean algebra, which is this fancy computer language that was coming out at that time. And I used a train transformer and some switches and stuff like that, and I won. And up to that time, I thought I'd just be a farmer. And there's nothing wrong with being a farmer, but when I realized I could make a choice, it turned my life around because I realized I was good at something that would later carry me into engineering and eventually carry me into education.
And it sounds like your project was also influential in showing you the power of hands-on learning.
What we know just from educational research is only about 25% of the people in the world actually learn in a true cognitive fashion. Most people learn, more importantly, by putting their hands on stuff. In fact, let me give you, I have a little something here I'd like you to take a look at. These are 6 bricks. There are 4 yellow ones and 2 red ones. And what I'm going to give them to you, and I'd like you to build a duck. What we begin to do is teach children, there are times when there is one right answer, 2 plus 2 does equal 4. But for the most part, there are the times when there are many, many solutions. So if you hold up that and look at it, that's your duck, and that's a wonderful duck. We've done it in rooms of 2,000 people, and rarely do we have 2 ducks that are identical.
I'm intrigued that LEGO is also working with literacy, and I'm trying to understand that connection. Can you expand a little bit on what LEGO is doing with literacy?
We're creating a medium that children can use to build stories, and there are 5 sets of each element in there. A brick is called an element. And we build the scenes, the beginning, the middle, the end, then we write about it, then we capture it digitally.
So why is it so important that learning be fun?
Well, let's talk about fun in the context of engagement. We know as adults how much we dislike doing things that are not engaging, that are not relevant, and that we don't own a portion of the process. Guess what? It's exactly like that for children. With technology, children are looking at the world in a much different manner, and we have to engage them in the manner in which they're engaging the world. To do less is to deny them the opportunities they deserve.
If you could shape the perfect classroom and the perfect learning experience, what would it be?
The reason I got into education to begin with is to create a future where children are respected, where they begin to understand that their choices matter and that they can own their educational environment, and where children are able to lead us adults on a wonderful journey back into the creativity that many of us have lost simply because we don't use it.